Keep sending me more and more material to read out online throughout the day today, Jan 22nd, 2024, in resistance of the hate politics, the madness that's happening all around our country. I have the absolute privilege to read this letter that my dear friend, senior witch, witchety witch, Madhu Bhushan, has written. This is a letter to Ram. Dear Rama, I have little choice but to write directly to you today on the eve of the grand consecration of your temple in Ayodhya to speak my heart. Hopefully, you will understand better than this government led by a mere mortal aspiring to take your place in the hearts of those who revere you. Why, he is even changing dresses like a chameleon every day in order to beat you in the Dashavatara and Antaryami department. It is all very confusing. Is he man, Superman, cameraman? Only you will know. In fact, as the Shankaracharya in an interesting interview the other day with the fellow who speaks very oddly with an Oxbridge accent said, this MM seems to be thinking of himself as the next Vishnu avatar. Much of what the Shankaracharya said about political Hindus, which is a species evolved in Kali Yuga, you may not be familiar with. And Hindus of faith, in fact, echoes with Pandit Lal Das, what he said way back when Anand Patwardhan interviewed him for his documentary Ram Ke Naam. You will remember Lal Das, he was the priest of your idols within the mosque compound when the Babri Masjid still coexisted with the temple. When asked what he thought about the plans for building the temple at the spot of the masjid, he said something so important. He said, this is a political game played by the VHP. There was never any ban on building the temple. Besides, according to our tradition, any place where idols of God are kept is a temple. That's a Hindu custom. And even if they wanted to build a separate temple, why demolish a structure where idols already exist? Those who want it are actually more interested in creating tensions all over India in order to cash in on the Hindu vote. They don't care about the genocide that will occur, how many will be killed, how much destroyed. Prophetic words. Words that preceded not only the bloodbath that followed the destruction of both the masjid and, in fact, the temple that housed your idols, but his own death. He was shot dead on 16 November 1993 in the middle of the night, 20 kilometers from Ayodhya. And who murdered him and why, only you will know. You know, on December 6, 1992, when the mosque and the temple that was within it was razed to the ground, I was devastated. Like so many of my generation born into the Hindu faith, I raged and mourned at this great betrayal of what I was brought up believing. That this faith would never goad me to become a good Hindu, but guide me to become a better human being. That the feminine greeting of Jai Siya Ram Ji Ki would never morph into the macho, murderous battle cry, Jai Sri Ram. I protested with fellow mourners through multi-faith gathering where we remembered the best of all faiths that are in danger from their fundamentalist followers. But strangely enough, 3 decades later today, on the eve of the inaugural of the glitzy new temple built, I feel neither rage nor sorrow. I feel, in fact, rather still. Still, in the midst of the holy, unholy noise, melodrama around it, which reveals the ridiculous depth to which this country has been driven. So low that PVR Cinema can advertise free popcorn with the live streaming of the consecration of your temple. Popcorn. Seriously. I'm sure even you are laughing at the way you have been turned into an electoral mascot and salesman from a Maryada Purushottam. So you will please excuse me if I do not light 4 lamps in front of my house, as is the diktat from above. But what I will promise to do is light 4 lamps within my heart. One for Sita, who exiled herself from the Ram Rajya your followers built. Now that is another quarrel we need to have another time. Leaving behind the memory of a strong, self-respecting woman willing to stand up and walk away from what she believed. One for Gandhi, who was killed for being a self-proclaimed Sanatani. You will remember that he died with your name on his lips and believed that the chief value of Hinduism lies in holding the actual belief that all life is one. That is, all life coming from one universal source, call it Allah, God or Parmeshwar. One for Ambedkar, who was a fierce critic of caste-ridden Hindu dogma and for whom true religion was to promote a universal ideal of humanness and fellow feeling that he enshrined in the concept of fraternity underlying the remarkable constitution of this country. And finally, one for Bilkis Bano, that most inspiring of women in our times who kept her faith in this country and its justice system alive despite how both failed her. Until the Supreme Court stood firmly with her by sending those who raped her and murdered her back to jail where their inhuman crimes have driven them. These lamps will help to not only keep out the darkness of despair, but also keep bright our belief in the power of love, the most divine and transcendental of all faiths that can conquer all fear, hate, and injustice. I'm sure you will accept and bless these lamps, for as Gandhi's favorite bhajan went, Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram, Patita Pavana Sita Ram, Ishwar Allah Tero Naam, Sabko Sammati De Bhagavan. Yours in peace and love, Madhu Bhushan. Thank you, Madhu, for this beautiful letter. I know this has gone viral. It's on WhatsApps. People are sharing it. Let us all light these 4 lamps in our hearts. Thank you.